Warm greetings. This is Peter Nathan with a webcast for tomorrow's world. Amid the reindeer and Father Christmases populating the front gardens in suburbia and decorating the streets of our cities, we find constant references to nativity scenes. The airwaves, whether on the radio or in the stores and malls across the nation, are full of Christmas music, most of which is based on carols and lyrics that describe the circumstances surrounding the birth of Jesus. Such religious decorations and music may have been banned from schools and government buildings as an attempt to separate state and religion. But no matter how secular and consumer-driven the Christmas season becomes, we're still confronted with the display and imagery of what this season represents in people's minds. So let me challenge you with a question. Is there any place for Jesus Christ in Christmas? Bible History Daily posted an article on December 10, 2014, raising interesting questions about the date of the birth of Jesus Christ. Could it have been December 25th? Bible History Daily is a news service of Biblical Archaeology Society, publishers of a popular journal dealing with the archaeology and history of the Holy Land. From the evidence displayed in our societies, such as I mentioned, the idea of the date of the birth of Jesus would appear to be a settled question. But to the author of the article, Tony Burke, an associate professor at York University in Canada, the New Testament is silent as to the time of his birth. He correctly notes that the details that are given in the New Testament are fragmentary. But for him, the telling point is it was over 200 years afterwards before anyone is recorded as establishing our December 25th date as the time of birth. The writer makes the valid point that, on the other hand, the date and time of death of Jesus are well established in the New Testament. The absence of birth dates is not surprising. Birth dates were not a feature of Jewish society in that time. Celebrating such issues was considered a pagan idea, kept by the godless people. Hence, the idea of a birthday or celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ was not a feature of the people among whom the church started. The early followers of Jesus, his disciples and apostles, would have thought the idea of celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ as heretical. Interestingly, the first occasion of an attempt to celebrate the birth of Christ occurs in Egypt 200 years later, according to Burke. Could they have established the right date? What was the basis for choosing the date they did? Perhaps you ought to listen to a webcast by my colleague, Adam West, on, quote, the origins of Christmas, close quote. That will help you appreciate the driving forces for choosing a date. But let's return to these creative efforts with nativity scenes. The first recorded use of a nativity scene was apparently a product of Francis of Assisi in the 13th century, 1,000 years after someone established the date of birth. Nativity scenes, whether in art or a church or someone's front garden, tend to be a montage of every possible element derived from the pages of the New Testament, and surprisingly for most, from the pages of writings that were never considered part of the Bible. Known best of all for the rich imagination of the writers. The Gospels, for instance, tell us nothing about how many magi there were. In fact, the Gospels indicate that they visited Jesus and Mary and Joseph at a much later time than the shepherds. So the ideas of three wise men who arrived at the same time as the shepherds is creative fiction on several levels, like so much else that is normally accepted about the role and place of Jesus in Christmas. The lack of detail in the Gospels emphasizes where the focus should be placed on the life of Jesus, his teaching, his death, and resurrection. So I put it to you, is there really a place for Jesus Christ in Christmas? Thanks for watching. For more information, video, and material on biblical and news topics, please visit us on Facebook or at tomorrowsworld.org.